Hello, latest movie stories friends. Welcome to our channel. In this video, we will discuss the storyline of the Damsel movie, which is full of mystery, dragons, and unexpected sacrifices. Make sure you watch it until the end, because there are so many lessons we can learn from Elodie's journey. But before we start, don't forget to press the like button, subscribe, and activate notifications so you don't miss other exciting updates from us. In ancient times, when Raim's rise had not yet been discovered, there was a king from the Aura Kingdom who brought his troops to Mount Bata. The mission: eradicate a Mabra lizard, aka a dragon, which is a threat to its people. However, upon arriving at Mount Bata, even though the soldiers had cast aside their fear and were ready to fight, it turned out that the king had been pranked. The dragon easily spewed fire, melting the soldiers without mercy. The story continues to a time when snow has made other kingdoms automatically barren. Princess Elodie, a girl from a small kingdom, is looking for firewood with her sister, Princess Floria. The condition of their kingdom is at its worst, barren land. People are starving. In the midst of their wood-finding activities, they saw a horse-drawn cart approaching from the north. It turned out it was a guest from the Aura Kingdom.
She will do.
Their father, Lord Before, receives a letter from the Aura Kingdom. What it says: a marriage proposal from Prince Aura to Princess Elodie.
From the Queen of Auria.
As the kingdom's economy is like a wallet at the end of the month, Lord Before asks Elodie to accept the proposal. Although reluctant, Elodie agrees to save her people.
That's no reason to marry.
The next day, Elodie, Floria, their stepmother, and Lord Before boarded a ship bound for the Kingdom of Aura.
Skin, cold as a corpse, nose.
The journey took 2 days, and upon arrival, they were greeted by thick fog, plus 2 dragon statues that made the hair on the back of their necks stand on end.
Almost like
A dragon.
At the palace, a royal servant named Pact took them to Elodie's room.
A bath has been drawn, and supper.
Melody sees a girl named Eliza in the next tower, with a look full of regret. Very mysterious. The next day, Elodie was introduced to Prince Henry by Queen Isabel.
I'm Henry.
It turns out he's really handsome, but his response to Elodie to lighten the mood, Henry invites Elodie to take a walk in the royal garden. While enjoying the view with Prince Henry, Elodie spoke up. Last night I saw a light on Mount Bata. It was like there was a light there. Henry explained that it was related to the kingdom's annual ritual. This ritual is always connected to the marriage of every descendant of the Aura Kingdom.
Very well.
Meanwhile at the palace, Elodie's stepmother sees Queen Isabel discussing the reward for the estate with Lord Before. Sensing something strange, the stepmother asks about Elodie's marriage, but Lord Before is reluctant to discuss it.
Speak already.
Due to her burning curiosity, the stepmother decided to meet Isabel directly, amidst the magnificent wedding decorations. The stepmother tried to make small talk about the relationship between the kingdoms.
You have impeccable taste.
But instead of getting a friendly answer, Isabel instead made fun of her stepmother's family background, saying she was just a rope maker.
Was a rope maker, was he not?
What's more surprising is that Isabel accidentally calls Elodie's name Elwa. Wait, what? The stepmother begins to suspect that Henry will marry 2 daughters at once, Elodie and Elwa.
I wish all the best for Henry and Eloise. I merely...
Elodie.
Feeling that her daughter is in danger, the stepmother goes to Elodie and asks her to think twice before marrying Henry. However, before she can explain further, Lord Beaufort arrives and immediately orders his wife to leave. The next day, the wedding day arrived. Elodie was dressed in the best dress that made her look like a true queen. After all the preparations were complete, the wedding began in the magnificent garden of the kingdom. Many guests were present, and everyone looked happy.
They kiss the bride.
After the procession is over, Henry takes Elodie to the ritual site using a horse-drawn carriage. The journey takes them to the foot of Mount Bata, a mysterious location where the royal ritual will be held.
I told you about those ancient ceremonies up on the mountain.
Yes.
Once there, Elodie begins to feel that something is wrong. The ritual participants wear strange masks, creating a creepy atmosphere like a cult. But Elodie tries to calm herself down. Isn't this supposed to be the happiest day of her life?
When our ancestors first laid claim to this island,
The ritual begins. Queen Isabel explains the ancient tradition, which turns out to be more terrifying than Elodie could have imagined. The ritual begins with Queen Isabel explaining a dark story. Before the first kingdom was built on Aura Island, the first king met the island's original inhabitant, a legendary dragon. Because the dragon was too strong to kill, the king made a deal. He offered his 3 daughters as sacrifices, in exchange for half the island to be used as territory for the Aura Kingdom.
Sacrifice we commemorate every generation.
This annual ritual is held to commemorate the sacrifices of the king's daughters. As part of the ceremony, Isabel scratches the palms of Henry and Elodie, mixing their blood. With that, Elodie is officially considered part of the Aura royal bloodline. After the blood ritual is complete, Henry is asked to carry Elodie across a bridge hanging over a dark abyss. It looks romantic at first, but in the middle of the journey, Henry suddenly throws Elodie into the abyss. Turns out, this isn't the happy wedding Elodie had imagined. It's a sacrifice ritual. At the bottom of the cliff, Elodie tried to climb up, but the cliff walls were too slippery. Her cries for help woke up the dragon, who was still alive in the cave. Elodie also saw piles of gems and jewelry around her, a sign that many other princesses had fallen victim to this ritual. When the light of fire emerged from inside the cave, Elodie approached and found something surprising. A swallow was burning, followed by hundreds of other birds flying towards it. This sight further emphasized the mystical atmosphere of the place. Soon after, the dragon appears. Surprisingly, the dragon can talk. He reveals that this ritual is part of an ancient treaty, where every generation of the Aura royal family must sacrifice a princess to maintain peace on the island. As the dragon tried to burn her with a blast of fire, Elodie swiftly dodged, running into a dark tunnel. There, he finds the body of Elwa, the girl he saw in the tower earlier. It turns out Elwa was a victim of the previous ritual. Although she managed to escape, Elodie's leg was hit by a blast of fire, leaving her with painful burns. By lighting a small lantern, he continued his journey through the narrow cave. But on her journey, the lantern goes out. Elodie eventually finds a source of blue minerals that shine brightly, perhaps a hope in the midst of darkness. With the courage and strength she had left, Elodie jumped. She almost fell, but Elodie managed to reach the other side. After managing to jump over the chasm with difficulty, Elodie finds a source of blue light emanating from a large number of leech-like creatures. Since her lantern's light had gone out, Elodie used the leeches as a light source to illuminate her path. However, the adventure in the cave gets harder. When Elodie is drinking from a frozen water droplet, suddenly the dragon appears above her and starts breathing fire. Elodie swiftly dodged, running into a cave room that was shaped like a coconut shell. In the room, Elodie finds the remains of previous victims, dozens of items of clothing, and a list of names, including the names of Princess Victoria and Guinevere. When Elodie's fatigue makes her rest, she is haunted by the shadows of the victims who say that the Aura nation has lied to everyone. When Elodie woke up, she found her injured leg covered in blue leeches. At first she panicked, but then realized something miraculous. The leeches were healing her burns very quickly. Knowing this, Elodie also attached the leeches to the wound on her hand, and within seconds, the wound was completely healed. While examining the room, Elodie finds a map of the cave that was apparently made by Princess Victoria, one of the previous victims. The map shows the way out of the dragon's cave. With renewed vigor, Elodie follows the map, which leads her to an exit hole surrounded by crystal stones. There, she also finds Victoria's crown. Elodie used the crown to climb out of the hole. However, just as she was climbing, the dragon appeared from below, making her almost fall. With courage and persistence, Elodie finally managed to reach the top of the exit hole. Unfortunately, when Elodie arrived at the mouth of the cave, he found the exit was deadlocked. Now, he was at the top of Mount Bata, trapped with no way down. From a distance, he saw his father, Lord Beeford, with 3 men who seemed to have come to save him. Elodie screams for her father, but the moment becomes tense when the dragon reappears.
3 must be given.
The dragon suddenly left after hearing Lord Beeford's screams. Apparently, his father had a change of heart. He chose to save Elodie rather than trade her for treasure. While trying to find shelter, Elodie finds something that reveals the reason behind King Aura's pact with the dragon. 3 baby dragons are found frozen to death, victims of the first Aura King's massacre hundreds of years ago. The act enrages the dragon, who seeks revenge by demanding the descendants of the royal princesses. However, tensions rise when Elodie hears her father, Lord Beeford, screaming her name. Together with 3 men, they try to save Elodie, but the dragon arrives and attacks. 2 soldiers died on the spot, and the guide chose to flee, leaving Beeford alone.
Why are you here?
Lord Beeford tried to fight the dragon, but his resistance was in vain. The dragon easily defeated him, piercing his body with its sharp claws.
Call her.
To trade your life.
Elodie, who was hiding behind a pillar, accidentally made a noise that caught the dragon's attention. Luckily, the dragon was distracted by the voice of the guide, giving him time to approach his father. In his dying state, Beeford asked Elodie to continue to survive and climb the mountains. After giving his last message, he breathed his last. As Elodie climbs the mountain using a rope, the dragon attacks again, breathing fire at her. With incredible courage, Elodie managed to reach the summit and escape on a horse. This success provoked the great anger of the dragon, who had never lost a victim before. In his rage, the dragon burned the surrounding forest. News of Elodie's survival reaches Queen Isabel. In desperation, Isabel kidnaps Floria, Elodie's cousin, to be used as a substitute sacrifice. When Elodie learns of Isabel's plan from her mother, she immediately heads to the mountains to stop her.
Sister, I have to save her.
No, I'll go.
However, Elodie was too late. Isabel had already mixed her own blood with Floria's, then thrown her into the abyss. Before Floria reaches the bottom, the dragon catches her. But Floria is protected by the warrior's armor, which withstands the impact of the dragon's attack. When Elodie arrived, there was no one there, so Elodie climbed down from the bridge with a rope. After the dragon leaves, Elodie manages to bring Floria back to her senses and tells her to hide.
Elodie, you're alive.
When the dragon returned, Elodie took a desperate step. She pointed her sword at the dragon's eyes, but hesitated to attack. The dragon took the opportunity to breathe fire. However, Elodie managed to survive by jumping into a puddle of water. When the dragon tried to grab her again, Elodie fought back. She stabbed the dragon in the eye with a dagger, then grabbed a nearby sword and stabbed the giant creature in the leg. The dragon staggered. Elodie saw a wall that could reflect the wind, immediately thought of luring the dragon there. After that, Elodie asked the dragon to kill it with fire. Of course, the dragon immediately released fire with enthusiasm, and that was when Elodie jumped just in time, and the fire bounced onto the dragon's head and finally fell. As a result, the dragon was in pain and was finally defeated. Elodie then told the dragon that all this time he had been lied to by the Aura Nation, where the women who were sent here were not princesses of the Aura Nation, but rather the daughter of another kingdom whose blood was mixed with that of her people, so that the blood that the dragon kissed would be the same as the blood of Aura's people. The dragon then asked Elodie to kill him, but Elodie refused and instead healed the dragon's wounds with blue leeches. From here, the dragon finally came to his senses and became friends with Elodie. After surviving the cave, Elodie returns to Aura Palace with determination. Upon arriving, she finds that Isabel is marrying off Henry to another princess, yes, the next poor girl to be sacrificed to the dragon. Without further ado, Elodie immediately approached the princess and whispered a warning: "Go, take your family now before it's too late." Not only did she save the princess, Elodie also told everyone in the palace who was not of Aura royal descent to flee immediately. Just then, a thunderous sound came from the sky. Huge footsteps shook the ground. The dragon appeared in a rage. Without hesitation, the dragon hurled fire at Isabel and her entire family. The cunning queen finally felt the consequences of her actions. She was completely burned in the dragon's flames. Now, Aura is no longer a magnificent kingdom. In fact, Henry, who survived the incident, might switch professions to become a Mobile Legends YouTuber. The next day, Elodie, Floria, and the stepmother returned to their kingdom. But this time, they didn't come empty-handed. They brought the dragon as the protector of their kingdom. The dragon is no longer a monster that demands sacrifice, but is a loyal guardian of the Elodie family. With this, the dark history of royal princess sacrifice finally comes to an end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys.